All right, y'all. What's up? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday championship edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge, EVProChargeEV.com. All right, y'all. An ugly day at the park yesterday, which happens, man. I mean, baseball's a crazy game. We don't need to dwell on it a ton. I'm sure Jay Johnson and his players probably won't. It's just on to the next, which is today, which is a one-game winner-take-all for the national championship. We can run through it a little bit yesterday. I did a post-game show for those that are interested in the post-game thoughts, but I'll sort of cliff notes it for you here today if that's agreeable. I surely would have thought that you told me LSU ran Hurston Waldrop out of the game after 2 1/3, 3 runs on 4 hits. He had walked 6 and struck out 2. I would have and thrown 83 pitches. Surely I would have thought LSU, today we were celebrating the national championship. I thought LSU's at-bats against Waldrop were magnificent. Yes, disappointing to not break through with more than a run in the first and 2 in the second. You had runners. Yeah, I mean, look, you had the bases loaded for Joe Bear in the first, and he grounded out. Huge opportunity there. In the second, you had the bases loaded for Travinsky, and he grounded out to third. So you leave them loaded in the first and the second, and you're leading 2-1, of course, and then we know what happened from there. So top of the third, they put up a 6 spot on a wind-aided grand slam, the likes of which we literally have never seen in this era. If you missed it, I shared it with you, but MLB Pipeline shared the StatCast data for that home run. In the third, the grand slam. So Ty Evans' grand slam had a 51-degree launch angle. No Major League Baseball home run has ever left the yard with a launch angle of 51 degrees in the StatCast era. If you're wondering, MLB, the batting average on balls with a 51-degree launch angle this baseball season is .014. Basically, a 51-degree launch angle is a pop-up on the infield. So anyway, I know most of you probably don't want to dwell so much on what happened, but I thought the really smart thing that Jay Johnson did was at the point that you got down 8-3, you went to Collins, and after the game he explained it. So he went to Collins because Collins pitched against him last year, had success against him last year, and once they broke through against Collins, it was, at that point it was over. And so you're waving the white flag. Then you go Collins, Money, Little, Dutton, just to get you home. It completely, the final score at that point is just elementary. It just doesn't matter. It's, you're literally just throwing arms. You're throwing BP, and eventually they're going to hit it at somebody and get themselves out. But that sucks to watch it go the way it did, and it's embarrassing. It's really sucks to watch. But what's worse, losing in that manner or actually being in it, burning all of your good arms, and then losing 4-3. So the silver lining there is you're set up today with basically everyone available except for Ty Floyd and Ackenhausen. You know, everyone else would be available for you today. You know, if you needed Ackenhausen, which I don't think you would, Ackenhausen threw 56 pitches. I mean, he could give you something, but you don't really need him. You've got Hurd on, Hurd threw 47 pitches on Thursday. So you got Hurd on 3 days rest, which is a lifetime. I mean, he only threw 47 pitches. You got Griffin Herring Herring threw on Wednesday. So Herring's on 4 days rest. So you got Hurd on 3 days rest after throwing 47 pitches. You've got Herring on 4 days rest after throwing, I think, 80 pitches. Riley Cooper was, if y'all missed the report, Riley Cooper was not at the field yesterday. They said he had a stomach bug, so they left him back at the hotel just to rest and hydrate and all that sort of stuff. So I'm sure they'll give an IV, give him a shot of B12, and it's a national championship game, so go get it. Let's see. Coleman, if you need him, of course. And then the big one, obviously, would be Skeens for whatever he might be able to give you. So, you know, you're set up there. You're set up with the only scenario that could possibly be better for LSU is if Paul Skeens was starting, you know, and like full rest. But, you know, the thing is, if we go back to the beginning of the series, we talked about it. You had to win game one. And my feeling was you had to win game one because you didn't want your season hanging in the balance against Waldrop. Now, you did fine against Waldrop, but the first two games kind of went, the result went the way that I thought they would. I thought LSU would win game one behind Ty Floyd and that Florida would win game two behind Hurst and Waldrop. And now you come to game three and let's see how it goes today. If you're wondering about history, so since they've gone to the 3-game series in the finals, this is the 11th time that that the finals have gone to a game 3. And the team that won game 2 to force a third game, they've won the national title the last 5 times this has happened, and 7 of the 10. So history is on Florida's side. However, we did see LSU do this exact same thing back in 2009. LSU was one of the 3 when LSU won game 1, lost game 2 to Taylor Youngman, and then LSU blew out Texas in game 3. So, here we go. You got your pitching lined up. And on the other side, you're going to face Jack Caglione, of course, the Florida freshman who was a two-way guy who was a Golden Spikes finalist, along with Skeens and Cruz, of course, who won it. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of different things. And Caglione is, I'm sorry, I say he's a freshman, he's a sophomore. Caglione had 31 homers this year at the plate, homered yesterday as well, so I guess he's up to 32 now. But, and was their Sunday guy all throughout the year. He is a lefty, 6'5". He has pitched in this College World Series through against TCU in the game that sent them to the finals. Went 4 1/3, allowed 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 4, walked 3. That's been his bugaboo. is, he will walk guys. So on the season, 85 strikeouts, 52 walks. So if you're patient against Caglione, he'll walk you. Now, the other thing, so you got a couple of sophomores going today with Caglione and Hurd. The other thing that is a plus for Florida is Fisher and Neely, who both got the day off on Sunday after throwing 50 pitches on Saturday. Neely threw 54, Fisher threw 50. Both of those guys you would presume would be available today. So, it's about as evenly matched a game as you can think. You've got the two best offenses in the league. Both teams have plenty of arms available today. And LSU will certainly have a crowd advantage. And it's really certainly just going to come down to, hate to say it be this plain, but what team plays better today? Now, for whatever it's worth, LSU is the betting favorite at the sports books. LSU's minus 135. Florida is plus 105 on the money line. So LSU is the betting favorite in this game. I think there's a lot of assumption that Skeens is going to get the ball in some capacity. I'm not completely convinced on that. The sincere hope would be your bats come alive today and take care of that, and you don't have to worry about Paul Skeens throwing today. And that Thatcher Hurd goes and deals like we've seen him do a lot this year. So one game for all the marbles, as they say. All right, let me say some good mornings here. Kelly Gross, Nicole Havard, Trey Fisher, good morning. Trey Potan, Jeff McKithen, Ali Samanduri, good morning. Lance Richard, hey Dad, good morning. Earl, good morning. Tigers batting 216 in the CWS with 66 runners left on base. Let's flip the switch tonight. Yeah, man, facing great pitching in a really big park will do that to you. You've seen a lot. I mean, Wake Forest hit 180 as a team in the College World Series. Rebecca Claire, good morning. Hope you're doing great. Tanya Grant, good morning. Yeah, thoughts on who's on the mound today? I think your decision is, do you start Hurd or do you start Skeens? If you start Skeens, I think you start him as an opener with the expectation that he'll probably get you 9 outs. I would love to see, if that were the case, could you start Paul Skeens, let him go get you 9 outs, and hopefully that's around 50 pitches, and you shut him down and you hand the ball to Hurd with a lead. I mean, and honestly, that was my hope yesterday. Like, I know that was their hope yesterday in bringing Ackenhausen back was, hey, look, the first time Ackenhausen pitched, Jay even said it. He said the goal was to get him maybe 12 hitters. Give me 9 outs, maybe in 12 hitters. And he ended up giving you 6 innings, which was sensational, and you needed it. But yesterday, that really would have been a great goal. If you could have handed the ball off after 9 outs with a lead, that would have been ideal. And you almost got there. Instead, but you were in a tie game when you handed the ball off to Guidry with the bases loaded. And after 7 outs, and then we saw what happened. So it's a bummer. Ollie said, don't worry, Matt, just get ready to dive in the pool again. We're bringing home the chip tonight. I'm here for it. DJ D. Pascal, good morning. Why is Jordan Thompson in the lineup? Is there no one else to play short? He's 1 for 31. So DJ, I know there's a lot of people who are dogpiling on Jordan Thompson, and offensively, he has been, God, he's just fought it so hard in this College World Series. And sometimes when you get in a slump, this is the worst slump of his career. And when you get into a slump like that, sometimes what you do is you press to get out of it, and that's what's happened with Jordan. You could tell he is swinging early in the count, just trying to not strike out. I mean, it happens, and it's evident that's what he's doing, which is why yesterday was encouraging, because In his first AB, he worked a 2-ball count and then smoked a ball. And then he actually smoked 2 to left center yesterday, which was good to see that he made good contact. But which is better than just waving through 3 pitches and having a seat. Now, the other part of it, DJ, is up until yesterday, Jordan Thompson had been great defensively in the College World Series. Through your first 5 games, or 6 games, excuse me, he had 1 error in 6 games. And it was an error on a ground ball playing second. So one of the things that I complimented him on was the fact that he had not taken his struggles at the plate into the field with him. And yesterday, obviously, he pressed and he made 2 costly mistakes in the field. So to your question, first of all, Jordan Thompson is going to play. He's going to start, and he should start. He is your starting shortstop. He started every game for 2 years, and he is still your best option at short. Your only other option there would be Ben Napolt. And Ben is a sub-200 hitter. You're not gaining anything by putting Ben Napolt in the lineup. So, I'm still going to hat tip Jordan Thompson for continuing to be a selfless guy that in his draft year continues to play half the game at short and half the game at second based on if it's a left-handed batter or a right-handed batter. That's a team guy, that's a glue guy, and throughout his career, he has been a clutch hitter. That's kind of been Jordan Thompson's MO, is that he has been a clutch hitter in his career. He's never been the best hitter on the team, but he's come up in big spots throughout his career. Unfortunately for him, on the game's biggest stage, he is just having the worst slump of his career. And I would love nothing more than to see that kid break out of it tonight. And the one other thing I'll say is, man, LSU fans, it doesn't do you any good to go attack your own player. Like, it just, my God, I can't even fathom. I mean, he's a college student. He's a college student, and your own fans are just absolutely trashing you. It's, in what world does that help anybody? I mean, yeah, you don't think the kid knows he's 1 for 31 and committed 2 errors yesterday? Brad David, good morning. Are you and T-Bob going to be at Don Juan's tonight? I don't know yet, Brad. They had talked to us about it on Saturday. Quite honestly, I would rather be at my house tonight. I just need to be at home. But I want to do right by a client if they need it. But my guess is I'm going to be at home tonight. But I'll put out an announcement on all social media and everything like that just as soon as we have that answer. Trivia Carter, good morning. Reed Rule, much rather lose by 20 than a heartbreaker. We're seeing the effect of having played 7 games in 9 days. No, Reed, you got to keep in mind, like, I want to stress this again. And I don't want this to sound or come across like it's a total cop-out. Just remember, like, the final score yesterday is somewhat irrelevant. What I mean is, once it got, well, it was 7-3, and then Thompson threw the ball away at third, a run scored to go 8-3. They go to Collins. At that point, Jay Johnson was, I'm not going to say he was waving the white flag completely in that moment, but like Collins was the best of the guys you didn't plan to use. The up 10, down 10 crowd, meaning if you're up, they're only pitching if you're up 10, down 10. And so you went Collins and Money and Little and Dutton, guys who haven't pitched this postseason because we figured out what they are through a 56-game regular season. So you lean on the guys you trust. So in that situation, you're literally just trying not to burn arms. So you're throwing out anybody so as not to use an arm that you would need on Monday. So that's the benefit of having one on Saturday, was you had the luxury of a game to play with. And unfortunately, LSU had a lead early that they didn't grow quite as big as we thought or hoped they could or had the opportunity to do. And it went the way it did. So now you're reset. Tiger Diver, good morning. Lou, what hurt so bad? Yeah, they took the loss and still chased Walter early. Yep. Joey Vincent, what's going on? Brad David, why do pitchers need so much rest time after a game? It's just hard on the arm. Yeah, man. Shoulder, elbow, it is a very taxing thing to have that type of whip and repetitive motion. So there's a whole arm care routine that they all go through to stay on a routine and recover. Let's see. Is Cagliano not able to be Florida's DH because he's their pitcher today? He can bat from the pitching spot, is what you would do. Spurge, good morning. Weston Weaver, Ethan Davidson, Wendell Norman, Brandon Tilley, good morning. What do you feel are the chances we see Skeens throw significant pitches today? I think, for me, what I would like to see is them start Skeens and go through the lineup once, maybe twice, depending on how efficient he is, and then hand the ball to Hurd. My guess is they will start Hurd, and if they get to the end of the game with a lead, they could bring on Skeens if need be. Brett DeGrow, Matt Plavidal, what's going on? Tweaked my back, have to miss work. See a chiropractor and have since 2014. Okay. Well, I hope you start feeling better, man. Go see Crystal Poche. She'll get you right. You got back issues, go see Crystal Poche at Restored Motions. Shelby Kelly, Larry Garner, Jason Mabio, good morning. Has any team played this many games, this amount of days in Omaha? Well, obviously there's been teams that have played this many games, but this amount of days thing is interesting because they just shrunk it 2 years ago. And no, so State and Ole Miss each won the championship series in 2 games. So, let's see. Well, they did go to a game 3. Vandy won game 2, State won game. Vandy won game 1, State won game 2, State won game 3. I don't know if either team came out of the losers bracket. I'd have to go see if either team came out of the losers bracket. I don't remember that. And I'm just going to go quickly. It's already 8:04 and I got to get rolling. It's Damon Gilmore, Antron Hemingway. Good morning, Patrick Ramos. Deborah Cowart. Good morning, Matt Lusto. Yeah, Matt, we talked about that on one of the either morning scones or post games a couple days ago. Scott Perkins, Ethan Davidson, Leon Williams, Jonathan Martin, and by the way, Matt, I don't know that that's actually still definitive. Anyway, not worth getting back into, but yeah, what do you think Skeens' pitch count would be if you use him as an opener? 50, which you would normally do in a bullpen day, 40 to 50 pitches. Mad disrespect to the Tigers by them pouring it on us. Maybe the Tigers will, instead of lie down, call Florida Daddy. Might come out and win a baseball game tonight. Damn, Scott. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Jerry Nance. Yeah, so he said Skeens would only be hours away from 4 days of rest. So one thing that, Jay even talked about this, when you play a night game as opposed to a day game, it is like another day of rest, which there is some validity to that. But when you play all of the night games like LSU has, then you are on your regular rest. So it's not like extra rest. But either way, however you want to phrase it, Paul Skeens is resilient. The question is, you bring him back on short rest twice. So you bring them back on 4 days rest, then on 3 days rest in a week's time, or just from Thursday to Monday in 4 or 5 days time. You brought him back twice on short rest. That's where you wonder, okay, does the residual fatigue set in? Let's see, Andrew Repass, Gator fan. So Gator fans said, can Florida keep the bats rattling? Again, I get it, and I don't want this to come across as like sour LSU fan downplaying, but you got to understand who who the runs came off of. Bryce Collins, Blake Money, Christian Little, Sam Dutton are guys that would never have otherwise been pitching in this College World Series other than after a wind-aided grand slam that was a complete physiological anomaly. You would have never seen those guys in the game. So, I mean, to this point, LSU staff had an ERA of about 1.5 in the College World Series. That's super inflated now after yesterday, but I'm not worried that Christian Little and Sam Dutton and Blake Money and Bryce Collins gave up 20 runs. I'm not. I would expect that from those guys. That's why they don't pitch. And if that were the deciding game, like if Florida had won game one, LSU takes a much different approach than they did. So that's the benefit of having had a game to play with. So go win it today. All right, y'all. I'm sorry I got to run. It's 8:08. I'm already late, so I got to get out of here. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. I'm gonna get you an LSU Daily this morning, and of course AFR at 3. By the way, massive. Today is the day that AFR goes live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and ESPN 104.1 Lake Charles. So we welcome the 337 to the AFR family today, and Delta Media welcomes AFR to its family today. So we're looking forward to that. So let your friends know if they're in Lafayette, Lake Charles, anywhere along the I-10 corridor. The 103.7 signal and the one is in Lafayette, the 104.1 signal is in Lake Charles. They overlap. So if you're anywhere along the I-10 corridor, I mean, you'll have 104.9, 104.5, 104.9 until you get to 103.7, until you get to 104.1. So you'll be able to hear us all along the I-10 corridor. And then, of course, with 100.3 in New Orleans. So that's really exciting, man. Anywhere along I-10 in Louisiana, now you can hear us. Excited about it. So, okay. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.